Okay, Forgotten Girl again. Please do not watch this. Blah, blah, blah. I can't get my words right today. Please do not watch this video if you are scared easily or if you have nightmares. I tried out a new hairstyle. Blah. I tried out a new hairstyle again. It's just a braid and it goes into pigtails. Now, let's get started on chapter 10. And it goes all the way to 18. I kind of lost the page, so I kind of scrolled too far and I went to chapter 18. So, let's get started. It was Sunday morning, time for church. Daniel, his mom, and Saja were all in their rooms getting dressed. Daniel trying his tie exactly the way his daddy taught him. Daniel, we're ready, his mom called him from downstairs. He looked in the mirror. These chapters are kind of like from different people, about different people. Because my last one was about, my last two were about Iris. Now this one is Daniel's family. Iris's family, Daniel's family. He looked in the mirror one more time, eyeing the many waves in his shiny black hair. He bounced down the stairs, his dress shoes snapping on each step. They didn't always dress up for church on Sundays, but they did on days when they knew they'd be visiting Daddy's grave. Daniel wanted to see how nicely he could tie his tie now. Look at my boy, so handsome, his mama said, giving him a kiss on his forehead. Daniel could feel the stickiness of her lipstick still there. Isn't he Saja? Isn't he Shaja? What? Okay, that doesn't sound right. Isn't he Saja? Saja stared at Daniel for a long while. Then her golden brown chin, surrounded by small lines like the ones on top of the peanut butter cookies, trembled as she smiled, looking more like Seal each and every day. Daniel smiled at both of them. When Saja was like this, she wasn't so bad. She wasn't so... Wait, where was I? When Saja was like this, she wasn't so bad. Thank you. And you ladies look beautiful together. The three, I can't say anything right now. The three of them walked to church, which wasn't too far from their house. There were a few flurries last night, but luckily nothing stuck overnight, so Saja could come too. Iris and her family usually arrived late after the congregation finished praise and worship and were all being seated. The Roses whispering and apologizing the whole way down the aisle until they took their seats beside the stones. Today was no different, as Iris slid in beside Daniel on the pew behind their parents and Vanchant. Vanchant tried to sit with them one day, but she was too rowdy without her parents' close eyes, crawling under the seat and laughing too loudly. Parents' close eyes. So this is what she did, crawling under the seat and laughing too loudly. Daniel knew Iris was relieved when Miss Rose told Vanchant she couldn't sit there anymore. The pastor talked about the importance of helping those in need, talking about some of the community service drives they were holding when Iris nudged Daniel's knees and handed him a note written on a church program. "I need to tell you something." Daniel looked at Iris, a question in his eyes. She shook her head and mouthed later. Afterward, when they prayed their and all the grown-ups stood around and talked to one another, Iris pulled Daniel to the back of the chapel, behind the last pew. "Last night I thought I was having another nightmare about the spirits of the snow. It was the same girl I thought I saw in the clearing in my window. Daniel, I think it was Avery Moore. In my dream, she even said, 'Your angel rests where I do,' like the snow angel I made on her grave." "Iris," Daniel started, but Iris stopped him, shaking his shoulders. "Listen, at first I thought it was a witch riding my back. But this was a different kind of dream. It even felt cold in my room. I felt my bed, felt my sweat. And every time I see her open the window in my dream, it's really open when I wake up. Something really weird is going on around here." "What?" "Daniel, I'm not lying. I'm in church. Look, I don't know what happened in the clearing that night, but I think there's a reason I kept dreaming about her. I need to find out more about her to figure it out." Daniel sighed. He knew they wouldn't have gone there. He knew they shouldn't have gone there that night. Iris already had nightmares, and now they were worse, probably from guilt and knowing that they played in the graveyard. He didn't think his friend wanted to admit that she was scared. He wanted to tell her it was okay. In the dream, she kept saying she didn't want to be forgotten. "We need to find out if there are any Moors in the area." Iris began again, but she looked up and signaled to Iris that their families were walking up right behind her. Come on, Iris. We're going to Eggs over Esau for brunch, Miss Rose said. She turned to Daniel's mom. And you're sure y'all want us to save you some seats? Miss Stone shook her head no. We're going to visit Sinsel today, and I need to get home to get some things done around the house. There's a big load of laundry waiting for me. On a Sunday? Saja asks. You're never supposed to wash clothes on a Sunday. Daniel scrunched up his face. Here she goes again with her strange rules. The sermon was beautiful today, wasn't it? She continued on. I loved that. Such helpful, nice people here. Danny, do you know when I was your age, black people weren't allowed to sit on the front pews like we do here. We had to sit in the back or in the balcony. Really? Daniel asked. Suddenly, feeling sad, he pictured Saja as a girl trying to see the pasture from a seat too far away. Now that's sad. You should be able to sit wherever you want to sit, unless you have assigned seats. But that's just sad. Where was I? Yep. And the front was reserved for whites only. That's not fair. Yeah, it's really not fair. How can you be mean like that? And in church, too, Iris said, crossing her arms even tighter. She looked at Saja. Saja, Daniel, and I are actually doing a project that deals with blob in Esau. I do not know that word, but for any of you who do, Segregation.